The first battle of your life does not begin when the world attacks you. It begins in the first silent seconds after you wake up. Before the phone, before the noise, before the demands of other people reach your mind. There is a moment so small that most people never notice it. The alarm sounds. Your eyes open. Your body wants comfort. Your hand reaches for the screen. And in that tiny moment, you are not just choosing whether to wake up. You are voting for the person you are becoming. My friend, listen carefully. Your life is not falling apart in dramatic moments. It is being shaped by repeated, ordinary choices that seem harmless while they are happening. One morning of weakness becomes two. Two become a pattern. A pattern becomes an identity. And one day, a person looks at his own life and wonders why he feels so far from the man he once promised himself he would become. This is why this video matters. 11 Stoic habits to control your life. Not to control the weather of fate. Not to control the opinions of others. Not to control every result, every reaction, every uncertain turn of the world. But to control the one kingdom that was given to you from birth. Your mind, your judgment, your discipline, your response, your character. The Stoics understood something the modern world has forgotten. A human being is always under construction. Every thought is a chisel mark. Every habit is a stone placed into the foundation. Every reaction either strengthens the structure or quietly cracks it from within. You may think your life changes when you get more money, more respect, more time, more love, more certainty. But the deeper truth is this: your life changes when your daily habits stop betraying your higher self. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he still had to rule his own impatience. Epictetus was born without freedom, yet he learned to possess a mind no master could chain. Seneca lived among wealth and danger, yet he knew that comfort without virtue can rot the soul. They did not become strong by wishing for an easier life. They became strong by practicing small acts of command every single day. And that is what I will show you here. You will learn how to begin your morning before the world plants weeds in your mind. You will learn why the way you carry yourself is not vanity, but a signal sent to your own nervous system. You will learn how a calm face can lead the brain out of chaos. You will learn how to protect the garden of your attention from people and patterns that drain your spirit. You will learn how to become the eye of the storm, steady while the world panics around you. You will learn how to build your North Star, so your life does not drift into someone else's definition of success. You will learn how to plant your flag in your values and hold the line when the crowd tries to bend you. You will learn how humor, distance, mortality, and evening reflection can sharpen your soul instead of softening it. This is not a motivational speech. Motivation rises and disappears like smoke. This is practice. This is architecture. This is the daily construction of a human being who can no longer be easily moved by chaos. So before you listen further, ask yourself one question. Are you building a life worth standing inside? Or are you simply surviving a routine that is slowly dismantling you? Stay with me, because by the end of these 11 habits, you will understand that control is not something you find at the end of life. It is something you practice before the world wakes up. Number 1. Before the world steals your mind, light the first Stoic lamp of the day. The first thing you touch in the morning becomes the first thing that owns you. If it is your phone, then the world has entered your mind before your soul has even stood up. My friend, listen carefully. The morning is not just the beginning of your schedule, it is the beginning of your command. Before messages, before news, before opinions, before the endless noise of people who do not know where they are going, there is a sacred moment, a small moment, a quiet moment. And in that moment, you decide whether you will lead your day or be dragged by it. Most people lose themselves before breakfast. They wake up, reach for the glowing screen, and let the algorithm plant the first thought in their mind. Someone else's success, someone else's anger, someone else's body, someone else's crisis, someone else's life. And without noticing, they surrender the throne of their attention. This is why they feel behind before the day has begun. This is why their chest feels heavy before anything has happened. This is why their thoughts feel scattered, weak, and borrowed. They did not begin the day. The world began it for them. The Stoic does not live this way. The Stoic understands that the mind is like a lamp before dawn. If you protect the flame early, it can light the path for the entire day. But if you expose it too soon to every wind of distraction, it flickers, weakens, and dies before it can guide you. So your first habit is simple. Own the first minutes. Not the whole morning. Not some perfect ritual that lasts 2 hours. Just the first few minutes. Sit in silence before the world speaks. Let your breath return to you. Let your mind feel itself without noise. Do not rush to fill the emptiness. The emptiness is not useless. It is where clarity begins. Then ask yourself one question. What is the one action today that would make me respect myself tonight? Not what will impress others. Not what will make the day easy. Not what will give quick pleasure. What action will make you respect yourself when the sun is gone? Write it down. One sentence is enough. A Stoic life is not built by having 10,000 intentions. It is built by obeying one clear command at a time. Then feed your mind with something worthy. A paragraph of Marcus Aurelius, a page of Seneca, a line that forces your soul to stand straighter. Do not give your first attention to gossip, panic, comparison, or digital noise. Give it to wisdom. Because whatever enters your mind first often becomes the color of your day. If you begin with chaos, you will carry chaos. If you begin with resentment, you will search for enemies. If you begin with comparison, you will feel poor even when nothing has been taken from you. But if you begin with silence, purpose, and wisdom, you walk into the day with an inner lamp already burning. This does not mean the day will be easy. People may still provoke you. Work may still pressure you. Plans may still break. But the difference is this. You will not enter the storm empty-handed. You will carry a flame that was lit before the storm arrived. That is the first Stoic habit. Protect the first minutes, and you protect the direction of your life. Because a man who cannot command his morning will struggle to command his mind. And now that your inner lamp is burning, you must learn the second habit. You must dress not for the person you have been, but for the person you are becoming. Number 2. You are not wearing clothes. You are wearing the identity of the person you are becoming. The way you present yourself is not vanity. It is a silent instruction to your own soul. My friend, do not misunderstand this lesson. Stoic philosophy does not teach you to worship appearance. The Stoic does not chase luxury, applause, or the shallow approval of strangers. A robe, a suit, a watch, a polished shoe, none of these things can make a weak character noble. But the way you carry yourself can reveal whether you respect the life you are building. There is a difference between dressing to impress the crowd and dressing to remind yourself who you are becoming. One is performance. The other is discipline. Many people wake up and put on carelessness like a second skin. They move through the day with a collapsed posture, tired eyes, unclean clothes, a rushed body, and a face that says they have already surrendered before the battle begins. Then they wonder why their mind feels weak. But the body is not separate from the soul. The way you stand speaks to your nervous system. The way you walk speaks to your courage. The way you prepare yourself in the morning tells your mind whether this day matters or not. If you dress like nothing is important, do not be surprised when your actions follow. The Stoic understands that external things are not the highest good, but he also understands that every small act can become a training ground for virtue. To wash your face with intention is discipline. To stand upright is self-respect. To wear clean clothes is order. To move slowly instead of rushing like a hunted animal is command. You are not doing these things because the world deserves a show. You are doing them because your character deserves a signal. Ask yourself, how would the person I am trying to become enter this day? Would he move like someone begging life for permission? Would he hide in carelessness? Would he treat his own body like an abandoned tool? Or would he stand as if his life has weight? not arrogance. Weight, not pride. Presence. There is power in becoming visually aligned with your values. If you value discipline, let there be discipline in your appearance. If you value strength, let there be strength in your posture. If you value clarity, let your external order support your internal order. Again, this is not about money. A poor man can carry himself with nobility. A rich man can look expensive and still appear spiritually bankrupt. The difference is not fabric. The difference is intention. The world will always try to define you from the outside. It will measure you by status, beauty, wealth, youth, and approval. But the Stoic uses the outside as a servant of the inside. He makes the external obey the internal standard. So tomorrow, before you step into the day, pause. Do not ask, will they like how I look? Ask, does this reflect who I am becoming? Then adjust. Straighten your posture. Slow your breathing. Clean what can be cleaned. Simplify what can be simplified. Walk like someone who has stopped apologizing for existing. Let your appearance become a quiet oath. I am not here to drift. I am not here to decay. I am not here to live beneath my own standards. This is the second Stoic habit. Dress, stand, and move, as the future version of yourself would move. Because identity is not built only in great decisions. It is built in the small signals you send to yourself every morning. And once your body begins to carry the message of discipline, your face must learn the same command. Now we turn to the third habit. Train your face to lead your mind out of chaos. Number 3. Let your calm face lead your brain out of chaos. Your face is not only a mirror of your mind, it is also a command sent back into your mind. My friend, understand this clearly. Most people wait to feel calm before they act calm. They wait for fear to disappear before they stand steady. They wait for anger to cool before they speak with control. But the Stoic does not wait for the storm to become gentle. He trains his body to stop feeding the storm. When pressure comes, the body reacts first. The jaw tightens, the eyes sharpen, the shoulders rise, the breath becomes shallow. The face announces danger before the mind has even examined reality. And then, something dangerous happens. Your brain listens to your face. It sees the tension. It feels the panic. It receives the signal that something terrible must be happening. So the emotion grows stronger, not because the situation is worse, but because your body is amplifying it. This is why a calm face is not fake. It is leadership. You are telling your nervous system that you are still in command. Not because nothing is wrong, but because you refuse to become wrong with it. A weak person lets every insult write itself across his face. One disrespectful word, and his expression collapses. One stressful message, and his entire body becomes a public confession of panic. One uncomfortable moment, and the world can see exactly where to press. But the disciplined person learns to pause. He breathes once. He softens the jaw. He lowers the shoulders. He keeps the eyes steady. He does not perform happiness. He practices command. There is a difference. A fake smile tries to hide pain from others. Stoic composure prevents pain from ruling the self. This matters because the world is full of people and events trying to pull you out of your center. A passive-aggressive comment, a sudden criticism, a delayed result, a financial problem, a person who speaks to you with less respect than you deserve. In those moments, your first expression is often your first defeat. If your face obeys the chaos, your mind will follow. But if your face remains steady, your mind has a place to return to. Think of a warrior holding a shield. The shield does not end the battle, it creates space. It gives the warrior one more second to think, one more breath to choose, one more chance to act with dignity instead of impulse. Your calm expression is that shield. It gives your reason time to arrive. The Stoics taught that between what happens and what you do, there is a sacred space. Most people throw that space away. They react immediately, and then call it honesty. But much of what they call honesty is only undisciplined emotion seeking permission to escape. Do not let that be you. When stress rises, do not rush to speak. Breathe. Choose your face. Let your body become an ally of your philosophy. Say to yourself silently, "This moment will not make me abandon myself." That sentence alone can save you from 1,000 regrets. Because many lives are damaged by one uncontrolled expression, one sentence spoken too quickly, one emotional email, one look of contempt, one public reaction that could have been avoided with a single breath. The third Stoic habit is simple. Train your face before the crisis. Practice composure when nothing dramatic is happening. Walk with steadiness. Listen without frowning immediately. Receive pressure without broadcasting collapse. Let your face become the marble surface upon which chaos cannot easily leave its mark. This does not make you cold. It makes you free. Because a person who can govern his face begins to govern his reaction. And a person who can govern his reaction begins to govern his life. Now that your face has learned command, you must protect what enters your mind next. Because even the strongest flame weakens if the garden around it is full of poison. Number 4. The garden of your mind only blooms when you pull the weeds from your life. A poisoned garden does not fail because the flowers are weak. It fails because the weeds were allowed to stay too long. My friend, now that you have trained your morning, your body, and your face, you must protect the soil of your mind. Because even a disciplined soul can be weakened by the wrong environment. Most people do not collapse from one great tragedy. They are slowly drained by small daily poisons. One toxic conversation. 1 hour of meaningless scrolling. One person who always complains. One argument that gives nothing back. One comparison that makes your own life feel poor. One voice that plants doubt every time you begin to grow. At first, these things seem harmless. But weeds do not need permission to spread. They only need neglect. Your attention is soil. Whatever you keep placing in it will eventually grow. If you feed your mind with resentment, resentment grows. If you feed it with fear, fear grows. If you feed it with gossip, distraction, outrage, and comparison, do not be surprised when peace cannot take root. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that character is not formed in isolation from daily influence. The people around you, the words you consume, the habits you repeat, all of them water something inside you. The only question is what? Are they watering courage, clarity, discipline, and virtue? Or are they watering weakness, envy, laziness, and confusion? This is why you must become the gardener of your own inner life. A gardener is not cruel because he removes weeds. He is responsible. He understands that if everything is allowed to grow, nothing valuable will survive. In the same way, you do not need to hate people to limit their influence. You do not need to explain every boundary. You do not need to carry every conversation, accept every invitation, answer every message instantly, or let every emotional storm from another person become your weather. Kindness does not require self-abandonment. Compassion does not require unlimited access. The Stoic can be warm, without being available to every drain of energy. He can be respectful without being absorbent. He can love people without letting their disorder become his inner climate. So ask yourself, honestly, after speaking with this person, do I feel clearer or more confused? After consuming this content, do I feel stronger or more scattered? After spending time in this habit, do I feel closer to the person I respect or further from him? These questions are not judgment. They are gardening. They show you what must be watered and what must be removed. Protect your mind with the same seriousness a farmer protects his harvest before winter. Because when the difficult season arrives, you will live from what you cultivated earlier. If you cultivated discipline, discipline will answer. If you cultivated silence, silence will steady you. If you cultivated wisdom, wisdom will speak when panic rises. But if you cultivated noise, noise will be all you have. This is the fourth Stoic habit. Guard the garden. Pull the weeds early. Choose what enters your attention. Choose who gets your energy. Choose what your mind consumes before it becomes what your soul believes. Because your life will eventually resemble the things you repeatedly allow to grow inside you. And once the garden is protected, you are ready for the next discipline. To become the eye of the storm, where everything moves around you, but reason remains still. Number 5. Become the eye of the storm, where everything screams but reason stands still. The storm does not need to stop for you to become calm. You only need to stop giving the storm permission to command your soul. My friend, this is the 5th Stoic habit. After you have protected the garden of your mind, you must learn how to stand inside pressure without becoming pressure. Because life will not always give you quiet mornings. There will be sudden messages, sharp words, unexpected losses, financial pressure, a mistake at work, a person who misunderstands you. A moment when your chest tightens and your thoughts begin running like frightened horses. Most people, when the storm arrives, become part of the storm. They raise their voice because someone raised theirs. They panic because the situation is uncertain. They attack because they feel attacked. They collapse because the day became heavy. But the Stoic does not copy the weather around him. He becomes the eye of the storm, still, clear, unmoved at the center. This does not mean he feels nothing. He feels the wind. He hears the thunder. He sees what is breaking around him. But he refuses to let chaos enter the seat of judgment. The event is outside. The interpretation is inside. And between those two lives, your freedom. Marcus Aurelius taught that you have power over your mind, not outside events. This is not poetry. It is a weapon. When something stressful happens, do not ask first, why is this happening to me? Ask, what part of this is mine to command? Your breath is yours. Your tone is yours. Your next sentence is yours. Your posture is yours. Your decision to pause is yours. The result may not be yours. The opinion of others may not be yours. The first wave of emotion may not be yours. But what you do after that wave rises, that belongs to you. So when pressure comes, practice the Stoic reset. Breathe once before speaking. Name the emotion without becoming it. Say silently, anger is here. Fear is here. Pressure is here. Do not say, I am anger. Do not say, I am fear. You are not the storm. You are the one observing the storm. Then divide the moment. What can I influence? What must I release? Put your energy only where action is possible. This is how reason returns. Not by force, by clarity. A panicked mind throws energy everywhere and calls it effort. A Stoic mind places energy exactly where virtue can act. That is why calm people seem powerful. They are not faster than others. They are not free from problems. They simply do not waste themselves fighting what cannot be moved. My friend, the world will test you through noise. It will try to make you reactive, desperate, dramatic, and unstable. It will invite you to become smaller than your principles. Do not accept. When insulted, breathe. When delayed, breathe. When afraid, breathe. When the day shakes, return to the center. Be the eye of the storm. Because the person who can remain clear while everything around him becomes loud has already won the first and most important battle. He has not controlled life. He has controlled himself. And now that you have learned to stand steady in chaos, you must build the star by which your life will navigate. Without that star, even a calm man can drift. Number 6. The North Star of Logos will save you from a life that drifts. A life without direction does not usually collapse. It drifts quietly until the soul forgets where it was meant to go. My friend, this is the 6th Stoic habit. After you have learned to remain steady in the storm, you must ask a deeper question. Steady toward what? A calm man without purpose is still lost. He may no longer panic. He may no longer react to every wave. But if he has no guiding star, his life will still be carried by the current of other people's desires. This is why you need your North Star. The Stoics called this living according to Logos. Logos is reason, order, the deeper principle that gives shape to a human life. It is the inner law that asks you not merely to survive, but to live in alignment with what is true, noble, and worthy. Most people never build this star. They borrow one. They chase the career their parents praised. They copy the lifestyle their friends admire. They follow the goals that social media makes look impressive. They call it ambition, but often it is only imitation wearing expensive clothing. Then years pass. They achieve things they never truly wanted. They become impressive to people they do not even respect. And at night, when everything becomes quiet, they feel the strange ache of a life that looks successful but feels unfamiliar. That is what happens when a person has movement without direction. The Stoic does not live by borrowed light. He asks himself with brutal honesty, what kind of person am I here to become? What must I contribute while I still breathe? What values must guide me when pressure, praise, fear, and temptation try to pull me away? These questions are not soft. They are architectural. They decide the shape of your life. Because if you do not choose your direction, the world will choose one for you. The crowd will pull you toward approval. Fear will pull you toward safety. Pleasure will pull you toward comfort. Pain will pull you toward bitterness. And without Logos, you will mistake movement for progress. So build your North Star. Write down what you stand for, not what sounds beautiful, what is true enough that you would suffer to protect it. Discipline, honesty, courage, service, freedom, wisdom, family, creation, faith. Whatever it is, name it clearly. A vague life is easy to manipulate. A clear life is hard to enslave. Then measure your days against that star. Did this action move me closer to the person I claim to be? Did this habit strengthen or weaken my character? Did this choice serve my purpose or only my impulse? When you live this way, every day becomes a form of navigation. Not perfect, but deliberate. You may still wander sometimes. Every human does. But you will not remain lost for long, because the star remains above you. That is the gift of Logos. It does not remove darkness. It gives you direction inside it. My friend, do not fear a difficult path. Fear a path that leads nowhere. Do not fear moving slowly. Fear living quickly in the wrong direction. A Stoic life is not measured by how much noise you make, how many people praise you, or how quickly you appear to rise. It is measured by whether your choices obey the highest law within you. So look up, find the star, build the life beneath it. Because a person with a North Star can survive confusion, delay, pressure, and pain. But a person without one can have everything and still feel lost. And once your direction is clear, you must learn the next habit. Plant your flag in your values and hold the line when the crowd tries to bend you. Number 7. Plant the flag of your values and never sell your soul to the crowd. A man without values is not free. He is only available to the strongest pressure in the room. My friend, this is the 7th Stoic habit. After you have found your North Star, you must do something harder. You must plant your flag beneath it. Because direction is not enough. Many people know what matters to them in silence, but they abandon it the moment the crowd begins to laugh, pressure, praise, threaten, or exclude them. This is where character is tested. Not when you are alone with your ideals, but when your ideals cost you comfort. The crowd is powerful because it does not always attack loudly. Sometimes it bends you gently. It asks you to laugh at something you know is cruel. It asks you to stay silent when truth should be spoken. It asks you to betray your standards so you can belong. It asks you to become smaller so no one else feels uncomfortable. And little by little, many people obey. They call it being realistic. They call it keeping peace. They call it not making things difficult. But deep inside, the soul knows when it has sold a piece of itself. The Stoic does not live by the mood of the crowd. He listens, he observes, he learns, but he does not surrender his values for applause. There is a difference between an opinion and a value. An opinion can change when wisdom gives you better evidence, but a value is a load-bearing stone in the structure of your character. If you remove too many of those stones, the whole life begins to collapse. So ask yourself, what will I not betray? What principle must remain standing even if I lose approval? What line will I not cross, even when crossing it would be easier? Honesty, discipline, loyalty, justice, self-respect, compassion, courage. These words mean nothing until they cost you something. Anyone can speak of honesty until a lie would protect their image. Anyone can speak of courage until fear enters the blood. Anyone can speak of discipline until comfort starts whispering. Anyone can speak of loyalty until betrayal becomes profitable. This is why you must write your values before the test arrives. A soldier does not decide where to stand after the battlefield has already swallowed him in dust. He plants the flag first. Then, when the wind comes, he knows where his ground is. Your values are that flag. They tell you where to return when pressure confuses you. They remind you who you are when the world offers rewards for becoming someone else. The Stoic life is not about pleasing everyone. It is about becoming someone your own soul can respect. And sometimes, that will make you difficult to control. Good. A person with clear values is difficult to buy, difficult to shame, difficult to manipulate, difficult to bend. Not because he is stubborn, but because he has already decided what is sacred. My friend, do not become a mirror for every room you enter. Do not change shape for every voice that demands access to your approval. Stand politely. Stand calmly, but stand. Because when a man sells his values to avoid discomfort, he may gain peace with the crowd, but he begins a war with himself. This is the 7th Stoic habit. Plant your flag. Name your values. Hold the line, not with arrogance, with quiet loyalty to the person you are becoming. And once your values are planted firmly in the earth, you must learn a rare Stoic weapon. How to sharpen wisdom through humor, observation, and inner distance. Number 8. Sharpen the blade of wisdom through humor, observation, and inner distance. A soul that cannot laugh at itself is still too easily wounded by the world. My friend, this is the 8th Stoic habit. After you have planted your values and learned to stand against the crowd, you must learn something rare. You must learn how to create distance between yourself and your suffering. Not by denial, not by pretending pain is funny, but by seeing life clearly enough that your ego no longer turns every discomfort into a tragedy. Many people think Stoicism means being serious all the time. A hard face, a heavy voice, a life without lightness. That is a misunderstanding. The Stoic is not a stone statue pretending to be human. The Stoic is a human being who has stopped worshipping every emotional storm as if it were sacred. Humor, when used wisely, is not weakness. It is a blade. It cuts through exaggeration. It cuts through ego. It cuts through the false importance your mind gives to small humiliations. Think about how often your suffering grows, because you take yourself too seriously. Someone criticizes you, and your ego says, "This is unbearable." You make a mistake, and your ego says, "My life is ruined." You feel embarrassed, and your ego says, "Everyone will remember this forever." But wisdom steps back and says, "Look again. Is this truly the end of your life? Or is this only your pride screaming because it has been touched?" This is why observation matters. The untrained person lives inside every emotion. The trained person watches it. He sees anger rise. He sees shame tighten the chest. He sees fear creating stories. He sees the ego dressing itself like a king after one small insult. And sometimes, from that distance, he almost smiles. Not because pain is meaningless, but because the human mind can be absurd when it is frightened. That smile is freedom. It means you are no longer trapped inside the first version of the story your emotion gave you. The Stoic sharpens this blade every day. He listens more than he speaks. He watches how people perform confidence when they are afraid. He watches how he himself chases approval while pretending not to care. He watches the mind create drama, then calls it truth. And through this observation, he becomes less easy to manipulate. Because the person who can see his own ego clearly cannot be ruled by it so easily. My friend, do not use humor to escape responsibility. Use it to reduce the false weight of your pride. Laugh at your impatience. Laugh at your need to appear perfect. Laugh at the part of you that wants to give a speech every time someone misunderstands you. This kind of laughter is not mockery. It is medicine. It reminds you that you are still learning, still unfinished, still being shaped. The blade of wisdom must be sharp, but it must not become cruel. Use it first on your own illusions. Then the world will have fewer handles by which to drag you. This is the 8th Stoic habit. Observe deeply. Take your ego lightly. Keep your values seriously. And when life becomes heavy, create just enough distance to see the truth beneath the noise. Because a person who can laugh without becoming careless and observe without becoming cold has gained a rare kind of power. Now we move to the 9th habit. The ancient bell of Memento Mori will ring, and it will ask whether you are spending your life on things worthy of your final breath. Number 9. Memento Mori rings like an ancient bell to wake you from what does not matter. One day, the noise you worship will go silent, and only then will you know what deserved your life. My friend, this is the 9th Stoic habit. After you have learned to observe your ego with distance, you must now face the teacher no human can escape. Death, not as darkness, not as despair, but as the ancient bell that rings above every false urgency and every wasted day. Memento Mori means remember that you will die. Most people hear this and become afraid, but the Stoic hears it and becomes clear. Because death does not come to make life meaningless. It comes to remove everything that was never worthy of meaning. Think of how much of your life is spent on things that would become small if you knew your time was short. The argument you keep feeding, the resentment you keep polishing, the approval you keep chasing, the image you keep protecting, the delay you keep calling preparation, the fear you keep obeying, the dream you keep postponing. If the ancient bell rang tonight and told you that your days were fewer than you imagined, how many of these burdens would still deserve your hands? Very few. That is the mercy of Memento Mori. It cuts, but it cuts away what is false. The Stoic does not remember death to become cold. He remembers death to become awake. He asks himself, if this day were not guaranteed to return, would I still spend it in distraction? Would I still let one insult own my attention? Would I still postpone the honest conversation? Would I still betray my body, my mind, and my purpose for another hour of comfort? Would I still live as if I have endless time to become the person I already know I must become? These questions are not gentle, but they are clean. They remove the fog. They expose the waste. They force the soul to stop lying. A person who forgets death behaves as if life is an unlimited account. He spends attention carelessly. He spends energy on drama. He spends years waiting for the perfect season to begin. But time does not negotiate. It does not pause because you are afraid. It does not return because you finally understand its value. It moves, quietly, faithfully, without hatred, without mercy. This is why the Stoic treats each day as material for virtue. Not because he is desperate, but because he is honest. Today is not ordinary. Today is one of the remaining days of your life. Do not waste it trying to win arguments that will mean nothing in the grave. Do not waste it pleasing people whose opinions will turn to dust. Do not waste it rehearsing old wounds while your future waits unfed. Live with precision. Speak what must be spoken. Release what is already dead. Begin what you keep postponing. Love without begging. Work without needing applause. Rest without becoming lazy. And when the ancient bell rings in your mind, do not cover your ears. Listen. Let it remind you that your life is not a rehearsal. There is no second version, where you return and do it properly. There is only this day, this breath, this choice, this act of courage, This is the ninth Stoic habit. Let death sharpen your life. Let mortality strip away the unnecessary. Let the ancient bell wake you before the final silence does. Because the person who remembers death does not become weaker. He becomes harder to distract, harder to manipulate, harder to waste. And now, as the day comes to its end, one final practice remains. You must stand before the black mirror of the evening and let your soul tell the truth. Number 10. The evening is the black mirror, where the soul tells the truth before sleep. A day that is never examined becomes a life that is never corrected. My friend, this is the final Stoic habit. When the noise of the day fades, when the world grows quiet, when no one is watching you perform strength, wisdom, or discipline, there remains one last task. You must look into the black mirror of the evening, not to hate yourself, not to punish yourself, not to drown in guilt, but to see clearly. The Stoics did not end the day by escaping into distraction. They ended it by returning to themselves. Seneca examined his day each night, asking where he had fallen short, where he had acted well, and what he could do better tomorrow. This is not weakness. This is architecture. Because a life is not built only by action, it is built by review. The builder who never inspects the structure will not notice the crack until the whole wall begins to lean. Most people repeat the same mistakes because they never study them. They speak too quickly, then forget. They lose patience, then excuse it. They waste time, then numb themselves. They betray their standards, then promise vaguely that tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow does not become different by magic. Tomorrow changes only when tonight becomes honest. So, before sleep, sit with yourself. No performance, no audience, no excuse. Ask 3 questions. Where did I live below my standard today? Where did I act with virtue today? What one thing will I correct tomorrow? Do not answer like a coward, and do not answer like a judge who wants blood. Answer like a student of your own soul. If you were impatient, name it. If you were lazy, name it. If you chased approval, name it. If you protected your peace, name it. If you acted with courage, name it. If you chose discipline when comfort called, honor it. The evening reckoning must be honest in both directions. If you only condemn yourself, you become bitter. If you only praise yourself, you become blind. The Stoic does neither. He studies, he learns, he adjusts. This is how a human being becomes dangerous in the quietest way, not by grand speeches, not by sudden transformation, but by refusing to let one day pass without extracting wisdom from it. The black mirror does not lie. It shows you the face beneath the mask. It shows the moment your ego won. It shows the moment your reason returned. It shows the gap between who you claim to be and how you actually lived. And that gap is not there to shame you. It is there to guide your work. My friend, do this for 7 nights, and you will begin to notice patterns. Do it for 30 nights, and you will begin to change your reactions. Do it for 90 nights, and your life will no longer feel accidental. Because each evening, you are carving tomorrow from the stone of today. This is the 10th Stoic habit. Close the day with truth. Open the next with intention. Let no mistake be wasted. Let no virtue go unnoticed. Let no night pass without asking your soul whether it lived as it promised. And when you sleep, sleep not as a man escaping his life, but as a craftsman resting before he returns to the work. Because you are always building something. Make sure it is a self you can stand inside. My friend, remember this. You are always building something. Every morning, every reaction, every silence, every habit, every moment, you choose discipline over comfort. You are placing a stone into the structure of your life. The question is not whether you are building. The question is whether you are building a self you can respect. Stoicism is not a beautiful idea to admire from a distance. It is a practice. It is the breath before the reaction, the silence before the word, the posture before the battle, the value held when the crowd pushes, the honest review when the day is done. Do not wait for your life to become peaceful before you become disciplined. Do not wait for people to understand you before you stand firm. Do not wait for the storm to pass before you learn how to be steady. The world will keep moving. People will still provoke you. Time will still take what it takes. Your plans will still be tested. Your emotions will still rise. But now, you know where the work begins. Not outside, within. Guard your morning. Carry yourself with intention. Train your face to remain calm. Protect the garden of your mind. Stand in the center of the storm. Follow your North Star. Hold your values. Laugh at your ego. Remember death. Examine your soul before sleep. Do this, not once, but again and again. That is how a scattered life becomes a commanded life. That is how a weak day becomes a stronger character. That is how an ordinary human being becomes difficult to break. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself one question. Did I live today as the person I claim I want to become? If the answer is no, do not drown in guilt. Correct the course. If the answer is yes, do not drown in pride. Continue the work. Because the Stoic path is not perfection. It is return. Return to reason. Return to discipline. Return to virtue. Return to yourself. And when tomorrow comes, rise before the noise reaches you. Light the first lamp. Stand straight. Breathe deeply. Choose deliberately. Because your life is not waiting to be found. It is waiting to be built.